In any culture, it is a hallmark to look at life in terms of how it is structured by the language being used. In the West, using English, we tend to place the most important or significant aspect upon the noun for when it comes to doing anything. When it comes to doing something has to initiate the action in accordance with how our language is architected. All the emphasis, and thus importance and significance, is on that noun. Is it any wonder when it comes to facing our challenges, we look at them more as a thing to be solved? We look at problems in and of themselves as separate things because our language has structured our consciousness to place the emphasis on the subject-noun aspect of language. For we have told ourselves action, and thus effect, cannot happen without a thing to initiate it. Yet the experience of life is not a thing. Having an experience is a verb. You are actively engaged, doing, without a care as to who or what initiated it. The positive and negative experiences of life are what our spirit truly focuses on within the now moment. In other words, though our left brain is structured to give significance to the thing, as our language has been taught to us, the real importance falls on the doing, the actions occurring that we are wrapped up with in the very act of existence at this precise second. Upon closer inspection, you will see that you are always verbing, which I've mentioned in a previous video, meaning you are really a verb experience and not a noun thing. And when you apply that to the greater goings-on in the world, there really aren't any nouns at all, as all things are in motion. Likewise, this applies to what you consider your problems or challenges. Considering the architecture of our language, we usually take our problems and challenges and turn them into a thing, like a puzzle, that has to be solved. That is, we transform it into a noun. Yet the reality is that the challenge is not a thing at all, but something that gives us a verb experience that upsets us, frustrates us, or leaves us downright furious. But due to how we structure our language and the importance we place on the noun portion of a sentence, and thus how we think in relation to reality, we work to solve X. The truth is, we couldn't care less about X because what we're really looking for is the after effect. That is, the experience, the verb experience itself. Have we messed ourselves up or what? We need to stop looking at things and address what our spirits are really focused upon, the experience, the verb. For this is what we are really grasping for in life. Life has never been about things. We only provide such definitions for convenience of conversation, yet we have forgotten that. The real action of living places the emphasis on doing and not thinking. Our problems and challenges are no different. There is a truism that states you get what you focus upon. Therefore, is it any wonder that if you are focusing upon a problem as a thing, while simultaneously trying to solve it, you are just spinning your wheels, thus reinforcing the problematic reality. Fortunately, when we can start to look at the nature of reality as a verb experience rather than a noun thing, it gives us the key to unlocking the prison. When it comes to challenges, you don't have to solve the thing of it, for what you're really desiring is simply a different experience, a different verb. If what you focus on expands, then don't stumble upon the nuts and bolts of the thing. Instead, focus upon what our spirit engages with in the very now moment, which is the verb experience only. Forget the noun part of it altogether, for in the grand scheme, though it appears things initiate action, the real truth of life places the significance on the motion and the movement, placing the initiator as secondary. In this sense, when you're looking at your life in terms of a verb experience first, when that becomes the focus, then whoever initiates or contributes to the action is no longer the reality of the creation, and consequently never was. Rather, it was you, and always has been. In other words, you don't have to figure the things out, especially if you consider them problems. Just remain focused on the verb experience you are desiring, allowing for the things to work themselves out in the process, behind the scenes, where the experience of reality is ultimately formed by the wondrous nature of your own divine inner spirit. In other words, life itself is not a problem to be solved, but rather an experience to be had. And that's a completely different mindset from what we've traditionally been taught through the use of the English language. Switching focus changes everything.